Hey guys, this is Jack with Team Empire, and today I'm actually doing First Thoughts. I know it's been a while since we've done First Thoughts. I mean, a while. It's not that long. It's only like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. But there hasn't been that many reveals or notable reveals. I mean, Chris Reign happened, but we were kind of busy at that moment. And of course, the premium deck sets were coming out. But GC will probably make a video on that since he loves those decks and he can't wait to try those out in premium. But we're actually going to cover some Set 2 reveals. This is like the first real notable Set 2 reveal. I know we had that one from last week, but for Brankgate, but this is a notable one because it's 2 ride lines getting support. It is Solrairon support and Gandeeva support, and technically Eugene support, but we'll talk about that in just a second. I'll be going over the Solrairon cards first. I quite liked Solrairon upon first reveal, and obviously y'all did too. But Solrairon has not been treated too great. He's kind of just like a discount Hexorb, even in his own set where he came out. And set 12 did not help in that department. But from the looks of these cards, they actually are pretty dang good. And they actually solve one of the big issues of Solrairon, a couple of them. So let's get right into it. We have a common first called Academic of Ingathering Harvesting, who says, auto, when this unit is placed on a Ritter circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Solrairon in its card name, choose up to one grade 2 or less normal unit without Sentinel from your drop and put it on top of your deck or into your soul. So this is an amazingly free card. I mean, one thing is that it's a grade 1, which I quite like. Solrairon actually didn't have that many grade 1s, despite the fact that the deck wanted you to have columns for your big numbers. So the deck getting more grade 1s and actually more good grade 1s is a blessing. Plus, this is basically revival for the deck, and it's completely free, which is very nice. I mean, it's not completely free since Solrairon is a counterblast, but I mean, for this card, with the combo, it basically turns Solrairon's effect into a revival. Really amazing card. The soul charge is also nice too, just in case you already put something on top of your deck and you want to call this to use this effect to put a card into Soul, to use Solrairon's Soul Blast. Or use other Soul Blasts, like your dragon. I forgot its name, but it's from set 11, or set 10. When it's placed on a Ritter circle, you Soul Blast 1, it gets 5, you can draw. It's a very nice card to have. So this is a very nice 3 to 4 of in the list, in my opinion. Next card we have is Academic of Autonomization Lectures, who says auto Ritter circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If a normal unit was revealed by the ability of your Vanguard with Solrairon in its card name, cost, put this unit into your soul, countercharge 1. And if this unit was placed on Ritter circle from deck this turn, you may also draw a card. So this is just instantly a better version of the Solrairon Grade 2. I honestly don't really like the Solrairon Grade 2. I understand it was a countercharger, but it just didn't do enough. It just countercharged and also retired itself, which just didn't really make a lot of sense. It was just kind of minusing yourself for no reason in a deck that was already struggling against Gandeeva at the time. So didn't really like that card, but this is instantly a better version. It's basically an inlet pulse, being able to draw a card. And you might think that's kind of hard to do with the replace on Ritter circle from deck, but not only does Solrairon call this card from deck, but there's another card we'll talk about in a second, which is definitely the best card out of all of these, that can also call this card out of deck and call multiples out of deck. So you can draw 2 cards at the end of your turn. Then you can Soul Blast it out in one of the many ways Keter has the Soul Blast, and then use the previous card, Harvesting, in order to put it back on top of your deck. And then call it out, and then draw another card, and countercharge even more. So to be honest, with the consistency boost that Solrairon has been getting, I really like both these cards. They help so much in that regard. Plus, with this card in particular, and a bunch of Solrairon's cards, honestly, I really didn't like how a lot of them had to reveal a normal unit of Solrairon's effect. But with these cards, the consistency of putting a normal unit on top of your deck has become much easier. So I really like this card. I think this is one of the best cards in Solrairon now. It's definitely going to be a card that you're going to want to play. And finally, we have the double rare for Solrairon, which is Academic of Endeavoring Ethel, who says, auto, when this unit is placed on a Ritter circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Solrairon in its card name, cost counterblast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 grade 3 or less unit cards from among them, call them to Ritter circle, and shuffle the deck. If you called 2 cards, choose a card from your hand, reveal it, put it on the top of the deck if it's a normal unit, and discard it if it's not. So this is kind of insane. I think the only reason they made it called 2 from top 5 is because it's Solrairon. And as we've already established, Solrairon isn't very great. It's definitely fun, but it's not great. But this card definitely increases its consistency. A lot of Solrairon's main problems were if you didn't have any of the cards that put a card on top of your deck, a normal unit particularly, the deck would just fold and fall flat on its face. But now with this card, you can search for those pieces. You can use FL to search not only for your lectures, and lectures is now placed from decks, so you can use this effect to draw a card, but you can also use it to find Harvestine, and then Harvestine can put the card you want on top of your deck. So he helps very much in that regard, and he also fulfills that condition. The putting a card from your hand on top of your deck isn't even a big deal, because you can just call it off Solrairon's effect, and if that card is a Lectures, like if you have a Lectures in hand, not only could you potentially call a Lectures off FL's top 5, but you can also put a Lectures from your hand on top of your deck, call it with Solrairon, draw 2 cards in your turn. This card also has a really nice combo with Drilling Angel. If you use this card and find a Drilling Angel off the top 5, you can call the Drilling Angel. If you have a big enough drop zone, before you use Drilling Angel's effect, you have to resolve FL's effect if you call 2. Put a card from your hand on top of your deck that you can call off Drilling Angel, as long as you have a copy of that card in your drop zone. So you use Drilling Angel's effect now, put a copy of that card you put on top of your deck into your soul, call that card, and then you can keep the combo going from there. On top of that, FL can actually find himself, which is incredible. You can just chain multiples of these. And I don't mind wasting a bunch, or not even wasting, I don't even mind using a bunch of CB to call 2 cards out of my deck each and every time if I keep chaining off of fulls, because that's a lot of thinning out of your deck. So I think this card is incredible. Upon further realization, this card has so much combo potential in Solrairon. I think it's one of the best cards, probably the best card to ever been introduced in Solrairon. Next up, we have the Gandeeva support. So let's go over the 2 cards that it got. We have the first card, which is Flare Blow Dragon, who says, auto, when this unit is placed on Ritter Circle during your main phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Gandeeva in its card name, cost counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If you did not retire a rear guard, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less unit card from among them, call it to Ritter Circle, and discard the rest. So to be honest, I don't particularly like this card. I know a lot of Gandeeva players already are saying they don't like this card. It's just not great. Like, your CB is mostly used for Alpha Car and for Gandeeva's effect. So you don't really want to put another card that utilizes CB. And even though Gandeeva does have a countercharger, you mostly use those to maintain your damage and consistently use Alpha Car rather than just using this that could potentially even mill 3 triggers. Or call 1 trigger, mill 2. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's just not great. I think it's a nice little budget option, because I know Gandeeva can be still be decently expensive. So I think for budget option, it's pretty nice. And who knows, there might be some hidden potential in the future for this card. But right now, I don't think it's that great. And then finally, we have the triple rare, which is Drag Ritter Durham, who says, auto, when this unit is placed on Ritter Circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Eugene or Gandeeva in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1 and Energy Blast 3, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If you did not retire a rear guard, draw a card, and this unit gets the following ability. Auto Ritter Circle, once returned, at the end of the battle that your Vanguard attacked, choose one of your front row rear guards and stand it until end of turn. And then it has another ability, Continuous Ritter Circle. If you played a normal order this turn, this unit gets boost. So this is a crazy effect. Basically turning anything into a multi-attacker is crazy. Not only is this good because it's not grade locked, so Gandeeva, you're not really, let's be real, like Eugene's not going to utilize this as well as Gandeeva. Gandeeva now has access to 4 to 5 attacks while the opponent's on grade 2, and they will have access to 5 attacks because by that point they will have 6 energy to utilize. So that's pretty dangerous, but also he doesn't even have to restand himself, because if you notice, he has the effect and he restands something else. So you can actually do both effects. You can call him the back row and then just restand something off his first effect. So I think this is a really good card, especially with Sturgana being limited to 1. The deck really took a hit to its power, and now with this, it's right back there. But to be honest, I actually like the way that both these Gandeeva cards kind of worked, and I hope Gandeeva continues to get support like this, because for a while, in my opinion, this is all my opinion by the way, Gandeeva support was kind of boring, especially in set 10, because I get that was his first set, but still, most of the cards would be like, if you didn't retire, draw a card, bind one, and all of them just did the same thing. But I like this kind of approach, where they still draw a card, but they also do something else. They do an additional effect besides just binding a card. It's giving them more utility and more options. On top of that, just like diversifying these skills that Gandeeva has access to. And obviously this is just as good for Eugene. Like, Eugene players have a right to be excited because they have easy to access multi-attack now. Like, I know they had that combo with their promo card and Esphera, where they can call 2 Espheras from their deck, but that was inconsistent. And they also had Oswald. But now with this, if you have 2 of these, Eugene potentially has 6 attacks, which, I mean, that's pretty decent. That's no joke. Let's be real. So I think this is a really good support card. I think that it is going to make Gandeeva a pretty formidable deck again. Also, by the way, going back to the Solrairon cards real quick, another notable thing is that these cards don't use energy. So the Gandeeva card uses energy probably because it's a really good effect, and they want to limit what Gandeeva can do with energy. Like, because you want to utilize this card if you're going to use energy, and it's too risky to play other cards that utilize it. Meanwhile, with Solrairon, they probably realize these cards aren't going to be enough, so they wanted Solrairon to utilize some of the extra generics, like the Biscottis or anything else that's coming out in set 2. So I think them continuing to do support like this is a really fun idea, and I hope they keep it up. But with that long-winded explanation aside, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really enjoy First Thoughts. It's good to be back. It's good to be back doing them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the Gandeeva support cards along with the Solrairon support cards, which obviously y'all can tell I was very excited about Solrairon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.